سلام‌های گرم من سوزی خاتمی، تهیه کننده و مجری برنامه آرویو رو بپذیرید. امیدوارم که در هر کجای جهان که برنامه رو می‌بینید خوب و خوش باشید. در برنامه این هفته از یک سری از هنرمندان آمریکایی دعوت کردم که در برنامه حضور داشته باشن به خاطر فیلم‌های جدیدی که ساخته شده و مطمئناً خوشحال میشید که در موردش بدونید و از طریق این برنامه اطلاع رسانی بشه خدمت شما. خوشحال میشم که مثل همیشه لطف میکنید و از طریق سوشال میدیا این برنامه‌های آرویو رو با دیگر دوستانتون شیر میکنید، ضمن اینی که میتونید روی یوتیوب سوزی خاتمی هم تشریف ببرید و اگر برنامه‌ها رو در آینده دوست دارید برگردید و نگاهی داشته باشید در خدمتتون هست. اندیشه.tv هم برنامه‌ها رو همچنان روی صفحه هاشون میگذارن که برنامه‌های گذشته آرویو رو هم میتونید از این طریق دنبال کنید. و اما در برنامه امروز قرار هست که به زبان شیرین انگلیسی صحبت بکنیم، چرا که مهمانان ما همه آمریکایی هستن. البته خانم ویدا غفاری عزیزم که با نامشون آشنا هستید، چهره عزیزشون، ایشون ایرانی آمریکایی هستن، در حقیقت متولد آمریکا هستن، یک بازیگر سرشناس، ژورنالیست و وایس اوور هم انجام میدن و بسیار هم شخصیت خوب و نازنینی دارن و به همین منظور هست که من در بیشتر برنامه‌های آرویو موقع‌هایی که موقعیتی دست میده ازشون دعوت میکنم اینجا تشریف میارن. امروز هم دلیل حضور ویدای غفاری عزیزم به خاطر فیلم‌هایی هست که با کارگردان فیلم، یکی دیگر از بازیگرهای فیلم که آمریکایی هستن صحبت میکنیم و ویدا هم در این فیلم‌ها نقش آفرینی کرده و حضورش رو هم برای همین اینجا بسیار قدر میدونیم. دعوت میکنم ازتون که به این مدت برنامه امروز توجه کنید. امیدوارم که مورد پسندتون واقع بشه. خب gonna switch to English. البته با ویدای مقدار میتونم فارسی صحبت کنم. مرسی ویدا جون for being here. Thanks.
مرسی خیلی از شما. خیلی به بینندگان عزیز سلام میرسونم. Happy early new year, early نوروز پیروز. خیلی افتخار میکنم که امروز میام. خیلی افتخار میکنم که روی برنامه شما هستم. شما خیلی خبرنگار مهمی هستین برای کمیونیتی ایرانیا، هم تو لس آنجلس، هم تو امریکا، هم تو ایران، بین المللی، اروپا، everywhere.
Thank you.
خیلی خوشحالم از این موضوع. قربون شما. خیلی اکسایتد هستم. با امروز گستای خیلی خوب داریم. خیلی افتخار میکنم که این آقایون رو آوردیم به نام Dustin Ferguson and Robert Lankford. خیلی excited هستم که to have them on the show as we meld our way into English.
Totally. Guys, welcome to the show. Dustin and Robert. It's lovely having you both.
We're very happy to be here.
Well, we have Dustin as our returnee guest. I'm happy to announce that Dustin has been here before, and that gives me more pleasure and more compliment that he obviously liked the interview. That's why we have you back.
Thank you so much.
And congratulations on so many other films that you've made it all happened in 1 year. 5 movies, huh?
Yes.
Love and life here.
Good for you. I'm proud of you,
Thank
Dustin.
you. That means a lot.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little about what's been happening since the last time you were on the show with us?
Gosh, well, last time I was here, we were in the beginning of production on Robo-Woman, which Vida, of course, was in. Yes. We finished the film. I think we wrapped. It's been 4 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks. So we also announced that we're going to do a parts 2 and 3. So it'll be a trilogy, and we have a video game that's playable on the Nintendo video game system coming out for it.
When would that be? Don't go fast by that because a lot of our viewers that are young, they love to play that game.
Big gamers.
So tell us more about it.
Big gamers.
More details.
Yeah. Our pre-orders start on Friday on social media, and we're going to try and have it out next month. And it's a limited edition, so don't miss out on it for sure.
Okay, is that game any age limits or?
All ages. I mean, it's 8-bit graphics, so you can't get too violent in it.
Okay. Glad you mentioned that. Vida Jun, you want to get in other questions since you have been part of this movie?
Sure. So I think for you, you really give a you're present day, of course, but you do great old school homages or flashbacks or what have you. And I think it's so cool that you're doing this playable on Nintendo thing. How did you come up with the idea for that? I'm so intrigued by that. People just make their retro movies, but you live it, you breathe it, you marinate it, you do all that stuff with it.
Well, I'm trying to keep the genre alive, It's sort of become my niche over the years, doing the sequels and remakes sort of in the retro throwback style, and something like a Nintendo game is perfectly suited for what we're doing. I actually, Pack and Sack Dave is the creator of the game. he kind of went viral on Vice after he created a game for a couple where the girlfriend, when she beat it, her boyfriend proposed to her at the end of the video game.
Oh.
And so that's actually how I found out
I've heard about
him.
that Vice
Yeah,
article. That's huge.
So I approached him at the time and we did a game for Meat Hook Massacre.
Yes.
So that was the first game that he did, and it sold really well, and a lot of people were asking about another game, and I figured with our new franchise, Rebel Woman, it'd be the perfectly suited franchise for it.
You know, I got to tell you, Dustin, you're ahead of the curve because I was listening to the radio yesterday, and I mean, who listens to the radio anymore? But they were saying,
Vida does.
I do.
I do too.
I have an old dad. I had old parents, older father. So they were saying that video cassettes are now heavily coveted. After I did the Marie Kondo thing and I got rid of all my video cassettes, donated them all to Salvation Army, what have you. So you get unmarked video cassettes, 5 for $40. You don't even know what it is.
It's crazy.
And they're saying Nintendo machines that are brand new are, going up for like 6 figures.
Yeah.
So you came up with this a while ago, so you're almost ahead of the curve. Would you ever do like a throwback and put something on VHS?
Oh yeah, the first Meat Hook Massacre and the second one were both released on VHS first.
Is that right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
we
now you
the
can have your
versions.
box set Criterion
yes,
collection.
definitely.
So that gives us a lesson not to get rid of our older things.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah,
the new vinyl. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, vinyl came back, and you had the older crowd going to the record shops. It's the same with VHS now. Now we're grown up, we're adults. We want our videos back still. So.
But I think it's interesting because you're a millennial, but you're really
Barely.
into the
Born in 82.
Yes, okay.
I don't claim the
Eliza
millennial
Schlesinger
title.
is a comedian, and she calls herself the elders, and she pretends she's on a cane of millennials. But I think she's probably around your age or a little older. But still, I'm intrigued that you're a millennial and that you're into this stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
that's
it's
really
what I grew
cool.
up on. I guess I just never grew out of it. I mean, I'm an 80s and 90s kid. That was the VHS and video game era. So,
Oh,
So-
yeah.
just keeping it alive.
You're still a kid at heart. Now,
Yeah.
I want to go to Robert, who's sitting there patiently waiting for us, chatting here.
He's the quiet killer.
Yeah.
A quiet
He doesn't
one.
talk.
I
Never
like
trust
that.
the quiet type.
Absolutely.
You can't trust him.
Welcome to the show, Robert.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure having you with us today. These guys have already been on the show. That's why they feel totally at home. They don't give you the time and
sorry.
Like, oh yeah, he's over here.
That's why we call it feel at home, and they did, which is what I like. So next time you come back, I'm sure you would feel the same.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank
so tell us a little about yourself, Robert, and how did you get to meet Dustin and being here with us?
I've been a musician all my life, and then a friend of mine that I met through music came to me and said, "Hey, we need an extra for a short that they were proposing for another series." So I went and did that short, and through another actor that was there, I met Dustin.
Wow.
And then, to be short and sweet about the whole thing, as they say, the rest was history. But he and I have the exact same taste in genre. We both grew up in the same era, listening and watching the same stuff and really enjoying it. And it was just very easy to work with him.
That's nice.
And he's a pro on the set as well, so it just made it that much better. And we both kind of have the same vision. I'll think of something and then he'll go and do it. And so it's just nice that I get to sit back and just kind of get into character and be myself. It's fun.
And it's great to see how you've evolved with him. This is a lesson to young people that a person should pay their dues. Did you know that day walking into that short film set that this would, I mean, who knows in life, right?
absolutely
You got to
not.
say yes to everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I keep taking advantage of everything that's thrown at me. And, like they say, you keep throwing the darts at the dartboard and still something sticks. And that's what I do. I just enjoy life.
No,
and
you didn't
it's
leave
been
the
fun.
music industry all behind, even though
No,
you started
no.
this. So you still have that on the side, but then you got
Absolutely.
involved with this.
Yeah.
How long ago have you started, working as an actor with Dustin? When was this?
Gosh, we've been working together like
It's been
been
like
a while,
6
huh?
or 7
Yeah,
years.
6 or 7
6
years.
or 7
Wow.
years. Okay, cool.
That's
So-
longer than most marriages in this town.
And we were just talking, I think it was yesterday, that, when I think it was the beginning of 2015, we did the first Meat Hook Massacre. No idea anything was going to come of it other than that little film. And here
it's
we are in
been 4
California doing
years.
part 5, finishing
Yeah.
the series together. And he's still here, still doing it, so.
Still the guy behind the mask.
Yeah. Robert, tell us about your actual character in these movies. And
Bubba is, for lack of a better word, deranged.
And absolutely
Absolutely
terrifying.
He has
I'm really scared already.
an aversion to society and doesn't like people in general. So
Wow.
he was raised in a very poor time with some very cannibalistic ideals being raised, and so that is his influence, unfortunately, and he followed in the family tradition and family footsteps, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you guys have been in the same movie, Vida, you and Robert, or no?
She films her scene tomorrow with us.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we're going to go straight
play
to that.
against one another? Or
Oh, yeah.
nothing to
I'm
do
We don't
not
want to give away
giving
too much,
Yeah, but,
but
I might
they do
interact
interact.
with him.
They do interact.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I'm
you-
absolutely petrified because he's very scary on camera, and he's, as you can tell, he's a tall fellow. So, I mean, he's very gentle in person, but you have a real presence. I could just see by the other films and in the still photos.
He definitely does.
Yeah, you really have
I'm
a presence.
big teddy bear.
But that's what they all say.
Well, it's so funny. Like he'll pick someone up and put him on a meat hook. Like, oh, are you okay? Should I? Just like really gentle. It's like he's the nicest killer ever.
I try to be cordial.
Either way,
that's
he's
not bad.
Yeah.
That's not. Now tell us about having Dustin as a director when he works with you. I mean, it's one thing as a friend or someone you know.
Well,
but
as a
when
friend,
when you're on
yeah.
the scene and he's a director, how do you find him? He's
Working
not
with
listening
him-
now. You're talking.
Working
Yeah.
with Dustin is like working with a machine. I worked with other directors, and I watched them constantly go to the script. I watched them constantly second guess themselves. And every time I've ever stepped on set with Dustin, he knows exactly where he's going from beginning to end, and he never falters. He never has any second guesses on it, and it's just it's a real joy. And he lets me be myself too. So that's very cool that he just says, "Okay, I believe in you, and I believe in the character that you developed here. So go for it."
Okay,
It's
now
really nice.
Dustin, we heard Robert's version of it. How do you find him as an actor? Is that other question that I have?
Well, I think the
Find
fact-
it interesting.
I think
and
the
be
fact-
honest, he's not listening.
Well, I mean, just the fact that he's here, sitting here, doing this interview with me, I think speaks volumes. I love him, working with him. He's great in everything. Everybody I work with, I consider a friend. If they come back for another movie, I consider them a friend. We all kind of understand each other. We understand the workflow. There's never any complications. We talk about all the time how smooth of a shoot almost every shoot is because everyone just knows what we're here for and what we're doing.
And you know what you want. That's
Yeah,
very important. Most
exactly.
directors, they just want to do it a million ways, or they want to improvise it. Like they have all the time in the world. You're a very, like you said, a machine, and a very well-oiled machine.
Exactly.
Well,
You know
'cause-
exactly what you want when
Yeah.
you want it. It's so rare.
Well, look at it. We're making low-budget films here, and I don't want to waste people's time. A lot of people are doing it because they enjoy doing it. So I try and make it as efficient as I can so that people want to come back and do it again. And Robert's somebody, that time and time again, I mean, I can't even count the movies he's been in. He's been in all the Meat Hook films and Nemesis 5, and he's done a lot of voiceover work, almost all my trailers. He's the narrator.
Oh, no wonder you sound so familiar.
He's got the voice.
That's the voice.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you definitely have the
Yes,
voice.
you
He
definitely
does.
have
He
the
does. So
voice.
he's always been there for me. He's always got my back, and I got his. So
That's cool. Okay, so now same version with Vida and Dustin. How do you find Dustin as a director?
Oh,
and then I'm going to ask him.
He's incredible. First of all, Dustin's got a great vision. He's got a great worldview of everything. He's very knowledgeable about stuff. And I was very impressed with him. This guy's made a lot of movies, so he really knows what he's doing. It's a very well-oiled machine. He really knows how to get what he needs in a very, very limited point of time. Like there's not much time because he's busy making so many movies. So in a very limited amount of time, he'll give you great notes. He'll give you great direction. And sometimes as an actor, a person really doubts themselves, the time is so limited. But I always feel comfortable because I know with Dustin, he's not going to put in newfangled ideas. It's just a very well run. The crew is very well run. The cast, everything is in motion. And I tell him I love the notes you give me for everything because you're so specific. I know that I'm not dilly dallying. I don't second guess myself. He's just pronto, does what he needs to do.
How many takes do you take?
an average
Take
is
a
2.
shot. 2? Okay.
I mean, there's certain things we'll do, if they just nail it perfect the first time, I'm not going to waste our time doing it again because I know I'm going to use that shot.
He moves
Right.
on.
But I mean, oftentimes we'll just, if it's a line of dialogue, I usually have them do it twice. So I have 2 different options with the editing,
Right,
And
right.
after that, you're just wasting time. You don't need 3, 4, 5, 6 takes of something because you're going to end up using the last one anyways every time. It's
Do you also cast director yourself?
Yeah,
choosing the
it's
cast?
interesting. I do it all through social media. Usually it's just people I get to know that become involved, and again, a lot of the people I work with are people I've worked with time and time again.
Right.
I did an audition for the new film Los Angeles Shark Attack, which is my first audition out here, and we had 40 people
Yeah,
show
the
up.
waiting room pictures were intense.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't often do that, but I kind of wanted to get my feet in the water.
Tell us a little story about that movie now.
Okay, so the shark movie.
Because the name is kind of scary already.
Yeah, we're
I want to find
petrified.
out more, but
Well, you know, sharks are all the rage right now, especially out here in California. People love shark movies, but
Yes, they do.
they're sort
Shark
of
Week.
exactly. They're a laughing stock though anymore. You know, I mean, they're two-headed sharks flying in the air in tornadoes and stuff, and it's just silly. And so I think that something's really been lost in that genre, you know, since the 70s and 80s movies like just Jaws and Piranha, where it's just people on a beach being terrified by the creature in the water. And so I kind of wanted to take that and make it more modern with the elements of population and pollution over the years. And so the movie's more about nature striking back because the waters are becoming polluted and the people are disrespecting them. So it's about the animals getting revenge.
I see. So
Oh.
that's going to be really scary then.
Oh, yeah.
Because before, animals weren't trying to get their revenge, and still
know.
we were scared of sharks.
Exactly.
So I can imagine a
They're
shark
a little
that really
upset
want to
at
get
us
their
now,
revenge.
so yeah, they're going to do some chomping.
And you said you're going to do your shooting down in San Diego?
Yeah, we're going to try and do
perhaps?
most of it in San Diego and Oceanside, that whole area.
Nice.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And
And
how long-
another homage to old school. Sorry to interrupt
That's
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So how long are you hoping that that shooting is going to go?
It's going to be a 2-week production, the last 2 weeks of May.
All right.
So.
So, Vida Jun, another movie that you're playing tomorrow, do you have some...
I guess I can't really give much away.
No, but I'm just saying, like, are you ready for it? You've done your homework?
I'm
or-
as ready as I'll ever be. I'm just, waiting for my for the magic to happen, and I'm, very grateful to Dustin, and it looks like a great cast, and it's people that I'm looking forward to collaborating with. So, I've worked with some of them before, but I've never seen them. Like, we
Right.
never had our scenes together, so it'll be interesting this time to have my scenes with everyone. And, always such a thrill to work with you. So, and I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in front of me, but it's like I'm not, wondering. Usually I have a state of wonderment when I'm on a set, but with Dustin, it's just very well streamlined.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say, what I enjoyed about working with you, too, because just yesterday, it's funny, I'll get these messages from people like, I know you're busy,
Yeah.
but tell me what I need to do real quick.
You're very meticulous.
Well, and I enjoy that about you, too, because it's like, I don't have to think much about it. You're like, do I wear this or this? I'm like, that. Okay, do I need this or this? That. Got
He
it.
likes to do it himself, even though he has wardrobe people. He's got his people, but he's so meticulous. He likes it to
Well,
monitor it
because he
himself.
wants- yeah.
Right.
That's
I'm
it.
not used to that. It's like, wow, sorry to bother you, but.
So, okay, now talking about low budget movies, how do you get your money going, finance part of it? Who helps you? Who produces that part?
Oh, gosh. Well, with the
how
amount-
do you get help with those? Especially because you're doing so many movies all
Yeah.
at once. How do you manage that? if
Well,
don't
you
mind
really got to
talking about that?
multitask it, I mean, it's about making contacts, people believing in you and that want to support you and see you succeed. I mean, the only way you can really succeed in this industry is to be surrounded by people that want to support you. They
Right.
want to see you succeed.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, especially when I have multiple projects going on, I can't go to the same person and be like, I need another $5,000. It's like you got to... It's like
Expand.
each
Distribute
person's
that
got
and-
their own project sort of attached. Like we're doing a crowdfunding thing for the Shark movie. Meat Hook Massacre's being privately funded. We had a guy that actually, Randy Skornavaca, that passed away, that was the producer of Robo Woman.
Right.
So we've kind of got individual different people. We do it in a variety of ways, whatever I have to do to get it done.
What I meant really is how do you reach out to them? Because there may be some people who are interested in
Sure.
investing money in low budget movies. And
Yes, viewers.
Please, we need money.
So I'm just like curious that how do you really get your words out there besides the social media?
That's
Do you have
really
any
all we
other-
have anymore. I mean, that and word of mouth. A lot of it is just about growing who I am as an artist here so that people talk about me.
And you have a strong fan base. You have a very strong fan base, and that really reverberates.
That does help.
Yeah.
The fans that follow all of the projects and see it all.
And would you rather get it in one shot from one person, or you don't care if it's a combination of like 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, or you rather work with one person who puts it all and you do
Honestly,
it?
I
What is
kind
your
of like
really preference?
I like involving multiple people because I understand the importance. A lot of the reason that people invest in it is because they want to be involved. They want that producer credit. They want to be a part of something. So I enjoy involving multiple people. It's mutually beneficial when that happens.
So
You
that
have
would be your
you
preference.
foster a sense of community, I feel.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once your movie opens up, which theaters normally take you, and how do you distribute it? How do
Oh
you
gosh,
go
I mean, we'll typically do like a theatrical premiere for the bigger films. The ones that have like we're doing one for Robo Woman later this month. But a lot of them honestly just go straight to DVD or to streaming. Because I mean that's really where the market is. If you invest too much in theatrical distribution without much of a budget, you're going to lose all your money. Even if people go see it, you're not going to make much money. So you want to do the most low-cost thing you can, and typically nowadays that's just streaming.
I see. So with movie channels that are out there, how do they show interest in your movies if they, let's say,
They
want to show
typically
your
go through the
movies? How does that work?
distributors.
Okay.
Yeah, like Nemesis 5, I believe is going to be showing on the Showtime networks.
Okay, that's
Because-
what I meant. Because, yeah, exactly.
Bravo. Congratulations,
Congratulations.
everybody.
See, I have to keep asking to get these things out of Dustin's mouth. You see, he doesn't
He's very humble. He's got that Midwest
Well, I don't wanna brag,
I have to
but-
keep asking bit by bit and then get the
Well, yeah,
answer.
and, I mean, so we've got that, and we've got Redbox, like Nemesis 5, it just came out to Redbox, as well as my other film, 60 Seconds to Die. So we've got Redbox, and we've got Fandango, and
Right.
all of the bigger streaming ones. And then definitely Wild Eye Releasing is another company, like they're the ones that bought Robo Woman, and those, so
Okay.
that'll be available like in Walmart, like on store
Perfect.
shelves. So.
Yeah, so that's excellent.
And I read somewhere that Redbox is the largest hard copy version of films that you can rent these days is Redbox.
is, yeah, it's the
to
number
get the
one
actual
platform.
DVD. Yes, a number one platform for the actual DVD. So that's impressive.
Yeah,
That's
it's definitely an
excellent.
honor.
All right. So the upcoming projects, one by one, let's go slowly.
Sure.
You said at the end of this month.
Okay,
What
so
is coming
right now we're filming Meat Hook Massacre 5, the final chapter. This is the one that Vita's
That's
in.
the one Vida is in.
Yes.
And Robert's
And
the killer.
Roberts.
Yes.
Not me. They don't ask me to
We're not
help.
going to murder you this time.
All right. Okay.
And then I have, yes, in May is going to be Los Angeles Shark Attack.
Oh, that's
Ooh, ah.
And these are our leads. I got to give them a shout out, of course. Raymond Williams and Mia Skozafev. And then we also have Briggs Stevens who's going to be in the film
She's
as well.
a really highly regarded scream queen from Slumber Party Massacre.
Oh,
I've worked
yes.
with her a couple times, and of course Dustin has worked with her before.
And so Vida will be in it with Brink as well as
Very
Kelly Maroney.
honored.
They'll be playing the
congrats.
marine biologists in the film, cracking the case.
nice.
And
So-
Kelly's very impressive as well. So it's an
Yeah, she's been in
utmost
Shopping
honor.
Mall and Night of the
Yeah,
Comet
she's
and-
another scream queen.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. And then after that, we have the Killer Tomatoes project, and then Rebel Woman 2.
And Killer Tomatoes was a really, really big movie, and it's tremendous to me. It's so well deserved that you're doing this. It must be so enriching for you to take that franchise. I'm curious to see what you're going to do with it without giving too much away.
No, it really is. I mean, that's sort of the ultimate for me is a series like that because I always infuse elements of camp in all of my films. And the Killer Tomatoes, you can't get any can't
No,
better than
you
that.
can't.
And it was
Yeah.
one of the first VHS tapes I ever bought with my money, with my allowance. So it's sort of like it's all come full circle as it'll be my first big film in LA, and that's sort of going to be what sends me off into the genre. So I'm pretty
That's
excited.
amazing. I'm so excited for you.
Robert, you're sitting quietly.
I'm enjoying the conversation.
But you are here to be part of conversation.
Absolutely.
All right, now you're all done with taking your parts and
Oh, we
for the
have
movie, or
tonight?
you still have more to do?
No, we're still shooting.
Yeah,
Oh, you're still
tonight,
shooting.
tomorrow, and just tonight and tomorrow for you.
Tonight and tomorrow, yeah.
So you got 2
And
days left.
you're ready for it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's
What happens?
bittersweet.
Do you ever forget some maybe lines or something? If you do, what happens?
I grunt.
Yeah, he looks like a pig, so I mean,
Yeah, like that.
hopefully he doesn't mess that up.
Yeah, no, it's my part in this is really very simple. I just have to stand really tall and look very scary. So,
All right.
Well, he's got kind of an extended family in this because what's interesting about Meat Hook Massacre 5 is that this is a sequel to the original film. We're sort of discounting 2, 3, and 4 the way that the new Halloween was.
Oh, right.
So it's like 20 years after the events of the first one, and we find out what happened to the original final girl, Danielle Brookshire. And so this is sort of like 20 years later, she's living with her sister in California, which is Vida, and the killers have tracked them down.
Uh-oh.
But we find out throughout the course of the film that it's this bigger thing that's run by this sort of secret government group. Nathan Gershon plays sort of like an Illuminati character that's related to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have Alan Maxon, who is King Ghidorah's right head in the new Godzilla movie. He plays our Uncle Swine, which is like the pig hybrid. It's like a pig person.
It's hilarious.
He's sort of our main
Yeah.
victim. So it's going to be pretty crazy. Really excited about it.
I bet. Okay, can we switch to Farsi a little bit? So
Sure,
that people
sure.
follow us? Do you
Hatman,
mind?
hatman.
So you take a little quick break while we
Sure.
switch to
Sure,
Farsi,
sure.
and that way your Farsi
We'll be
gets
sure
better.
we say nice things. We
I
would,
hope so.
we would
Well,
anyway.
I have her
We
here, so I
would
don't dare say
anyway.
anything otherwise. بیننده های عزیز، میدونم که داریم obviously به زبان انگلیسی صحبت میکنیم. I hope که you don't mind، برای اینکه خب مهمانانمون انگلیسی هستن. البته ویدا جون فارسیش خوبه، خب به هر حال از پدر مادر ایرانی هست و متولد آمریکا. در حال خوشحال هستیم که ویدا جون رو داریم و در بین صحبت‌ها البته میدونم همه شما بیشتر شما در حقیقت انگلیسی صحبت میکنید. احتیاجم به اینکه من بخوام ترجمه کنم ممکنه نباشه، ولی برای اون دسته‌ای که احیانا شاید متوجه نمیشن همه رو، فکر کردم شاید بد نیست که یک چند لحظه‌ای به زبان شیرین فارسی هم براتون صحبت بکنیم که بدونید چه خبر هست، ما داریم چی میگیم اینجا و چی میشنویم. ویدا جون که بازیگر هستن، ویدا غفاری، و در ضمن ویدا جون در زمینه ژورنالیسم هم سالها فعالیت داشتن، در خیلی رد کارپت ها حضور دارن، در برنامه‌های آمریکایی، هالیوود و غیره حضورشون هست، ولی حالا دیگه اینقدر در فیلم‌های متعددی که به خصوص داستین فرگسون که کارگردان هستن و اینجا حضور دارن بازیگری میکنن و نقش آفرینی که دیگه واقعا وقت برای اون کارهای کمتر شاید داشته باشه، نمیدونم، ولی در هر حال اینجا هست و کارگردان داستین فرگسون و آقای دیگری که پهلوی داستین نشستن که ایشون هم رابرت هستن. قبلا در کار موزیک بیشتر مشغول بودن و موسیقی و غیره، ولی از آشنایی که با داستین پیدا کردن که ایشون کارگردان هست شروع کردن در یه سری از فیلم هایی که داستین کارگردانی کرده و نوشته بازیگری میکنن که بسیار هم موفقیت آمیز بوده و خیلی هم این دو هم با هم دوست شدن و خیلی قشنگ با هم کار میکنن. ویدا جان، حالا شما، من برای که زیاد حرفی نکنم، شما میتونی ادامه بدی به فارسی اگه سخته.
مرسی. حتما. میدونی این پسر خیلی هنرمنده، بیشتر از 60 تا فیلم درست کردن، تقریبا از بچگیش فیلم درست کردن، عاشق فیلم بودن، عاشق به قول خودش کمپی فیلمز، خیلی دوست داره فیلم ها اینطوری درست کنن. با خیلی تا حالا جایزه بردن، تو لاس آنجلس نالیوود اواردز استندینگ اویشن گرفتن، لاکی استرایکس فیلم فستیوال. با این فستیوال ها خیلی جالب بودن چون نالیوود مال نایجریا هست، پس تو افریقا هم فن هارر و فنای داستن هستن. با اون لاکی استرایکس هم یه آقای هیشن درست کرد. تقریبا فیلم های این پسر بین المللیه، فیلم های این آقا بین المللیه، با خیلی فیلماش وحشتناکه. ما هر دوتامون کاشانی هستیم،
هر دو ترسو.
وقتی خون دروغی رو من میریزن با خودم هم وحشت، حالم به هم میخوره، ولی به قول امریکایی it's worth it to me. ولی خیلی فیلماش جالبه. با تازگی فیلماش رو ویدیو گیم دارن درست میکنن که توی نینتندو میشه بازی کرد. من میدونم بچهای ایرانی خیلی عاشق نینتندو هستن، حتما باید فیلمشون روبو وومن در نینتندو ببینیم. من خیلی افتخار میکنم که تو این فیلم بودم. خیلی هنرپیشه‌های مهمی هستن. با این آقایونا خیلی زحمت میکشن. خیلی داستن فیلم کیلر تومیتوز میخواد درست کنن، با خودم هم امروز قرمز پوشیدم. اون کیلر تومیتوز اگه برای بینندگان بگم که خیلی فرانچایز مهمی بود تو 1980s. تمام فیلم‌های ایندیپندنت از اون یاد گرفتن. اون سیستم
فیلم های مستقل بود.
Exactly. Merci for that. So خیلی فیلم سازی عوض شد بعد از اون فیلم. با این آقا میخواد این فیلم رو دوباره درست کنه. I think it's Killer Tomatoes is going to be the sequel or the third movie?
It's the fifth film, which is the sequel to the original.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. So
پس پنجمی هست.
پنجمی از اون که از اولش خیلی هایی که تو اون فیلم کیلر تومیتوز بودن بعدن رفتن آرتیستای سینمای مهمی شدن، حتی کارگردان اون فیلم. من فکر کنم خیلی درها البته واز شده برای این آقا، ولی خیلی درها بیشتر براشون واز میشه. با خیلی پشت کار دارن و خیلی زحمت میکشن. من خیلی کم دیدم فیلم ساز انقدر زحمت
الان
بکشه.
در همین سال گذشته 5 تا فیلم رو تموم کردن که همه فیلم ها بسیار مورد توجه قرار گرفته، برای که این نوع ژانر مووی برای خیلی ها در آمریکا قابل توجه هست. حالا یه عده ممکنه مثل من اگه خیلی ترسو باشن و بک‌گراندشون کاشان باشه، به هر حال به خصوص نسل جوان و بچه‌های جوان‌تر اینجا، حالا یا آمریکایی یا ایرانی آمریکایی‌ها که اینجا هستن، خیلی این نوع فیلم‌ها رو دنبال می‌کنن و برای همین هم هست که اینقدر موفق شده داستین در این سال گذشته با این فیلم‌هایی که آماده کرده که دو تاش هم بهش اشاره داشت. ویدا جون می‌خوایم پوسترها رو نشون بدیم؟
بله حتما. این اولین این فیلم میت هوک ماساکر The Final Chapter هست. با پنجمین فیلم تو فرانچایز میت هوک. خیلی جالبه. بعدن
که ویدام توش در ضمن
با این آقای رابرت هم توش بازی میکنه، بابا رو بازی میکنه. اینم لاس آنجلس شارک اتک. البته به قول داستین فیلم شارک خیلی مد شده، با خیلی هنرپیشه های جالب توش هستن. برینک استیونز که سکریم کوین درجه اولی سلمبر پارتی ماساکر توش بازی کردن. میا اسکوزافاوی با ریمن ویلیامز با داستین خیلی دارن روی این فیلم زحمت میکشن. با مخواستم بگن که این فیلم مثل فیلم‌های شارک دیگه نیست که مسخره باشه. واقعا به یاد جاز آدم میفته که آدم واقعا وحشت میکنه. فیلماش واقعا وحشتناکیه، چون این روزا فیلمای وحشتناک بیشتر مثل کمدی میشه.
درسته.
ولی این فرق داره، آدم واقعا وحشت میکنه. اگه کاشانی باشی be careful.
بله، ولی در ضمن اشاره‌ای که داستین داشت در مورد این فیلم ویدا جون که یادمون نره، این فیلم شارک، این بود که این بار نگاهی که داستین به این فیلم داره و این فیلم رو خواسته درست کنه متفاوت است از فیلم‌های گذشته شارک. به این معنی که قبلا خب فقط این بود که بالاخره شارک خطرناک بود و اتک میکرد، ولی الان میخواد با توجه به مسائل مربوط به محیط زیست، اشکالاتی که هست در آب دریا، اقیانوس‌ها، چه اتفاقاتی میفته و چقدر الان شارک‌ها دیگه حالا این دفعه دیگه میخوان واقعا از ما تقاضا پس بگیرن و
بله.
به همون شکل درست کردن.
آره خیلی پوینت آف ویو جالبیه که آدم از فکر حیوان باشه که
از نقطه نظر اونا داستان
من تا عقل من نمیرسید که این کارا رو بکنم، پس معلومه که این آقا معلومه فیلمساز هستن که این ایده جالب دارن.
All right, now back to you guys. You took a long break, right?
Yeah, I think
You
so.
heard everything we said.
I got it.
Yeah, you got your Farsi refresher course in there.
All right. Now, since we're talking with you, Dustin, a director that has been coming up with so many movies, I'm curious to get your point of view about the Oscar that we just had, the whole ceremony, and the directors that won, and the movies that won, actors and actresses. What is your point of view? I'm very curious to know.
I have very little interest in the Oscars.
Okay.
I think that it's sort of perpetuating the other side of the industry. I think that's kind of the decline of the industry as we know it, because it's all about
Commercialism?
Exactly.
Purchasing products.
Exactly.
You have to have this outfit, you have to have this
It's a
toy,
commercial.
you have to have this, whatever it's called, action figure, you have to have this, which is cool in some ways, but it becomes a consumerist society. You're more about the story.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You
because...
probably like the Saturn Awards more.
Exactly.
That's like the Oscars of science fiction.
Yes.
Right.
Well, because, I mean, I'm doing this for the art. I do it because I love it, not because I'm trying to win an award, to prove something to somebody.
Or to a studio.
Yeah. I mean, it's an addiction at this point, clearly. I'm making 5 to 8 movies a year. I'm not going to take the time to focus on stuff like that. It's like...
No, but
I'm
I
doing
just
what
was
love.
curious because as a viewers of shows like that, Golden Globe, Oscar, this, that, the other, I have my opinion about them, which I'm keeping it to myself. But talking to people like yourself, who are from this industry, or Vida or Robert, I'm just curious to know, where do you think that is taking us? And the difference between Oscar like 50 years ago, 7 years ago, and today. Because I hear even people, ordinary people, not people in the industry, they are even disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just you guys who are already in it and know what's going on, but even viewers, they have a different point of view.
They couldn't even get a host this year, right?
Yeah, they couldn't. It's so
Exactly,
political.
that's what my point
It's very
is.
political, and it's so
That's
commercial.
yeah.
It becomes about the clothes, not about like the performances. So it's interesting. It's a
Yeah.
great sales ploy.
Well, like
I
you
think.
said, I mean, like 50 years ago, it was about the film. It was about
Exactly.
the art. And now it's flashiness. It's just stuff on the camera for 5 seconds at a time. I mean,
And the
it's
free
totally
stuff they
different.
get, which is
Yeah.
really nice stuff, I must say.
Oh, do you know this?
Well,
Robert, your point of view?
I have to echo what they're saying. I think it's all become far too political. We're all far too worried about who's wearing what dress, and in reality, we should be focusing on the art because that's what it's all about. And
True.
I think he shines through with what his statements are when he's focusing on making movies rather than seeing who's giving him the applause for them.
Or being a
And
2-hour
that's-
commercial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally. Which we as viewers, people who are sitting there getting it, from the TV stations, we also notice it. And I talk to people and they say that to me. But now that I have you guys here, I just wanted to, hear what you had to say and your point of view. Do you think there is any hope for that kind of a show? That if you could do something about it, what would it be, Dustin?
A lot of blood. Sorry.
I think I would just take it down a notch because I think that it needs to go back to what it used to be. It needs to be about the films. They're talking about adding categories for stunt performers, for special effects.
True.
Those are so crucial because without that stuff, you
Yes.
wouldn't have the important elements of the film.
Or they want to
Right.
put some of that stuff in the commercial break. It's
Exactly.
like those people, they spend their whole lives, a lot of them go to graduate school, they go to different schools for this, and then what, if you're lucky, you get it during the commercial break? I mean, what?
Exactly.
I mean, they have added certain categories
They have.
throughout the years, I must admit. But still, I think there's plenty more to
It's
do
just
and
too
pay attention to.
Exactly. It's become too much of a show. It's
Yes.
too overhyped. It's too blown up. I think that trends change. You know, every 10 years the cycle starts over and we go in a different direction. I have faith that in a certain amount of time it'll go back to a little bit the way it was. People will get sick of this. Things will start to change.
Yeah,
I don't think
nailed
it'll.
it on the head there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to like implode before then or anything. But it'll probably get pretty obnoxious.
There was
and
also a
really
lot of scandals in Hollywood too,
Yes.
so
That's
that
very
kind of
true.
effect changed the game. But personally, I think that TV is probably making more strides. So I think a lot of people that were in films now go to TV, and they're thriving in TV, especially a lot of women.
with Netflix and Hulu. That's what
And
everybody.
exactly,
Yeah,
and then the controversy with Netflix, whether the movie should be in the Oscars. It's just, you're right. It's just too politicized for
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
You don't really think about the people involved that are,
Now,
putting in all the
another
effort.
perspective. What about SAG? What about membership and what about SAG? What do you think about that? And as actors, actresses, do you think you know?
Well, I will say this about SAG, and I have friends on the board. SAG merged with AFTRA, and AFTRA is the biggest union for people in the media. So that covers not just, people on camera, it covers radio people. So the union has really, really changed. And I hate to say this, but a lot of my friends that are on the SAG board, they're like, I think in 5 years it's going to dissolve. And I don't think it's because of indie films. I don't think it's because of commercials. I think it's because of influencers, people that are, hundreds of thousands of followers, are doing YouTube videos for like Buick, for big car companies, or for, makeup companies. Everything in Sephora is now, some YouTuber is doing stuff for. So that's taking it out of the hands of actors. So I think SAG is going to have to get on the ball. We have a new media department. There's only 3 people that are reps in the new media department. That's like a government agency. And you have
that's
3
insane.
people representing the new media department. And the rules are always changing.
Now, do
So-
you necessarily choose actors and actresses that are with SAG, not with SAG? Is it important?
To me,
What
it's
is
just
your
a
point of view?
non-issue. To me,
So
it's
it's
about
not-
who I want to work with. If they end up being a SAG actor, great. If they're non-union, great. It doesn't matter.
So
you know?
it doesn't affect you either
No,
way.
I mean the shark film. We're doing it by the SAG guidelines because of like the camera crew and the effects and everything we have involved. It's almost like we can't not. But something like Meat Hook Massacre, where we're making the movie on a modest budget, you know what I mean? And we're going to get people that are committed to the art, not people that are concerned about their SAG dues and stuff like that. I
And
mean,
you don't have to answer to casting directors or networks or studios yet.
Yes.
So I think you're in a very enviable position because you have a lot of power. Whereas if you're making some studio film, you don't have that kind of power.
Exactly.
Where is the break between independent movies and otherwise? Budget-wise, or how would one-
Accessibility, because I mean you can make major Hollywood films on next to nothing, things that become hits that they shot on a cell phone.
Yeah.
But then people will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on an independent film that nobody sees. I think it's about your audience, it's about the reach that you have, it's about what's popular and what people really want, and as long as you can stay on top of that independent trend, you're always
Build
at
that
the
momentum,
forefront.
yeah.
And so it doesn't at that point the lines are blurred between studio and independent. You're just making films at that point.
If you could name one director that you would like, who would that be?
David Lynch. David
That's
Lynch
an
is
interesting choice.
very artistic. He is one that taught me that films are art.
Mm-hmm.
That they can be appreciated that way, more like a photograph. So I think that he's probably the one I look up to the most.
Robert?
I would have to say
Besides Dustin.
I'd have to say Tarantino.
Oh,
Tarantino.
interesting
Yes.
choices,
I enjoy
fellas.
his
Yes, I like
approach
his
to
work.
things and
Yes.
how he kind of echoes a lot of other genres, and I really enjoy that.
You, Vida? Besides Dustin?
Wow, they named all the
Feel
really good
comfortable.
ones. I guess, like I said, I have an older father, so I really like Scorsese, but I like the vintage Scorsese, the Scorsese of yore. Yeah, so that's what but along with the other two are great choices, and I love that David Lynch meditates. But,
Yes.
they're old school directors that I really like. I like some of the really classic filmmakers as well, but those two are great, and I really enjoy, like, early Scorsese, like 70s, 80s. 90s Scorsese.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, now we're coming up towards the maybe 5-10 minutes of our show. I'd like to pay attention to your upcoming visions for your films and
Okay.
anything you have to want to share with us. That's the time to go for it.
Okay, so let's see. We do have Meat Hook Massacre 4 and 5 coming.
Okay.
Part 4 was filmed last summer in Vegas, and it's going to be editing after we wrap Part 5. So we're hoping to have that up in the next couple months, probably available through Troma Entertainment streaming.
Nice.
And then we're going to hold on part 5 about 6 months, closer to the end of the year, and then we'll release that one, and that wraps up the franchise. Like I said, we're doing Rebel Woman 2 and 3, so that's being written, part 2 is being written by Mike Reed right now. He wrote part 1.
He's a great writer.
Oh, yes.
It's great to see how you guys are all professional, but you're growing even better. I was saying to our manager, Joe Williams, I'm like, the scripts are getting even better and better, and it's not becoming like commercialized. So it's great to see that evolution with you and Bubba. I mean, it's great. It's great. Like, what is it like for you guys to like end the franchise? I mean, I'm going to start tomorrow, so I'm in my own little world with Meat Hook. But what is it like to finish off the franchise for both of you? It's been quite a journey.
For me, it's rather bittersweet because I mean, part of it is like the relief of, okay, it's time to move on. This is the end of an era. You know, like I ended the story. Here we go. Now it's Rebel Woman time. But at the same time, it's the end of the franchise. You know, it's like we've been working together for every single one. Like yesterday, I was almost crying filming the chase scene. I'm like, this is the last time he's gonna chase you. Make it good. So, you know, it's even though it's a crazy horror film, it still means something to me personally. It's still my baby, you know. And after part 5's out, that the franchise now will go on to exist as a 5-film franchise. And part of it, you know, is like moving up. It's like now I know I've moved on to the next level. So.
Right. And the length of these movies are how long, Dustin?
They all hit about 70 minutes.
70 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anything from you,
Yeah,
Robert?
this-
what is your
I don't think
vision?
Dustin and I ever imagined that this would grow into what it grew into. I know I didn't. When he said, hey, I've got this part for you, I had never imagined. We have such a family that has developed now over film to film to film, and there's been so many people that have been involved that really want to see this succeed and really have created a whole new life for this that I don't think we ever thought was possible. And it's been an honor, man. It's been an absolute honor.
And what about your music? You know, love.
I will play music until the day I die.
Well,
you're in a new
Hope that-
band, aren't you?
I hope that I die. Yeah, I'm in a new band called the Organ Grinder Henchmen.
Wow.
And we are just a heavy grooving rock band.
Wow.
And it's
Do
a
you
lot of
play
fun.
live in Los Angeles or nearby
I'm
at all?
from
or
the
no?
Midwest. So
oh, you're from
we're
Midwest.
pretty
So you
much,
never actually.
But you've toured around with
Oh
RGF.
yeah,
You
I've
have
toured.
toured around?
Yeah, I was in a couple different bands. I've been lucky enough to tour with bands from Tesla to you know,
nice.
I've worked with Leonard Skinner, Deep Purple.
That's awesome.
I've just, you know, and I've been
It
very,
matches your
very
outfit.
blessed.
Yes,
you know,
that's right.
I've been the opening band, you know what I mean?
I
That's
see.
As
so
people are
very
walking
impressive.
in, you hear me playing.
Yeah.
So
Well, you
What-
certainly
what
look like a
instrument do you play?
rocker.
I'm the lead singer.
Lead singer.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Do you play any instrument?
I
No.
play the guitar, the
Guitar.
drums a little bit, you know, the piano here and there. I know enough to plink my way through an idea and say, here, let's try
You write
this.
your own lyrics?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, good
all
for
original
you.
music, yeah. Everything I've ever done's been all original.
And we actually had his band RGF in my film Conjuring Curse. It was the last film I did in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
It's an anthology film that takes place every 10 years, and in the 1980s segment, a hair metal band has their car break down at this haunted house.
I
And
love
he's the lead singer of the band, and they do a whole song in the film. It's pretty
Oh, that's
awesome.
great.
Yeah, we practice in a haunted house, you know, because that seems like the smart thing to do.
You're right.
Tell me that you said you write your own lyrics.
Yes.
What are the stories? What is it that you mostly like to pay attention to in your lyrics?
I write about
I'm just
life.
curious.
I write about what I see around me. I write about what's going on
Your own
in
life
society.
or what's in the society?
In society, you know, what I try to just get a feel for what everybody's going through and write about that because that's what's important. You know, I mean, we need to have a voice for our generation. We need to have a voice for what's going on with the world. And if someone's not going to stand up and say something about it, then
Yeah, you should
it
think
just
about
gets
how
lost.
expensive everything is now.
There you go.
It is. California's not cheap.
Yeah, I know.
Now, being an artist in the music industry, who is your favorite band or a singer or lead singer?
My favorite artist / singer, I guess, would be Tom Waits. The way
Old
that he
school.
approaches things, his crooner voice, his I don't care about what anybody thinks about me attitude. I'm just going to do my
What
thing
I believe in.
my way.
Right.
I find that very admirable. Yeah.
Good for you. And you were born where again? Which
I was
state?
born here in California.
Oh, you were in
Actually,
oh.
Texas. I moved here to California, and then
Gotcha.
I've been living in the Midwest for, 20 years now.
What state?
Nebraska.
Oh,
Nebraska.
Nebraska, of course,
Of
of course,
course.
of course.
Like
So-
everybody here in this
So
film
you're
is from
visiting
Nebraska.
LA now,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Your home
Absolutely
state.
love it. Yeah.
So you guys are the one that brought this torrentious rain to us and the storm and the lightning, right?
The cold
That's what I keep
winter
saying.
in 162
Every time.
years.
I know. Every time I bring people from Nebraska to film here, it's terrible
It
weather.
pours down. There
I'm
we
like,
go,
it's
you
your
see?
fault.
Seems to
Yes.
follow me.
Yeah, all my friends are blaming my sister coming from Germany, and for the past week they go, send your sister back. We've had enough of rain.
Yeah, I want the sun. I'm ready
So
for the
now we
sun.
have you to blame. But anyway, we're enjoying the rain. We need the rain in Southern California.
We
No
do.
complaint, really. We've been
poor
having
trees.
droughts year after year, so it's
Yeah.
good to have the pouring down rain. Vida Jun, we need to wrap it up.
Yes, we
for our
do.
show today. Guys, it's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much
Wish
for
you all the
having me.
very best
appreciate
for
it.
your upcoming projects, and hopefully we get to have you back here for other interviews in the near future.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
It's
thank
lovely
you.
having you both. Vida Jun, let's wrap up the
Sure,
show
sure.
between you and I now.
Sure،
Go
حتما. خیلی خوشحال شدم که رو برنامه شما بودم. خیلی افتخار میکنم با شما
My
که روی این
pleasure.
برنامه باشم با این آقایون خیلی پر هنرمندی.
ای
خیلی
جان.
برای من افتخار بودن. مرسی.
مرسی از شما ویدا جون. یادآور بشیم که نوروز هم در پیش رو هست. چهارشنبه
بله.
20 مارچ به وقت لس آنجلس میشه 2:58 یا نزدیک 3 بعد از ظهر به وقت محلی لس آنجلس. پیش نوروز رو به همه شما تبریک و تهنیت عرض می‌کنیم. برنامه‌های نوروزی تلویزیون اندیشه هم مشغول تهیه و تدارک هست که از نظر عزیزتون پخش خواهد شد. ما هم ممنون و سپاسگزار وقتتون هستیم در برنامه آرویو که تونستیم در خدمتتون باشیم با مهمانان عزیزی که وقت گذاشتن و به برنامه تشریف آوردن. اگر کاری سوالی هم دارید میتونید همیشه بعد از برنامه با من در تماس باشید. یادتون باشه که اندیشه .tv برنامه‌ها رو هم روی آرکایوشون دارن، هم پخش مستقیمش رو دارن و میتونید آرویو رو از طریق یوتیوب چنل هم سوزی خاتمی ببینید. ضمن اینی که من برنامه‌ها رو روی فیسبوک هم میگذارم که بعدم دوستان با هم اینجا شیر میکنیم که بیشتر عزیزان بتونن برنامه‌ها رو همیشه ببینن. ممنونم از وقت همگیتون. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so
And
much.
until next week.
مرسی.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
خداحافظ.